Good morning, guys. I'm so excited. So if you listened to the team training yesterday, we covered some things that we have gone through so far and learned at GoPro, but we learned a ton more last night. There were so many more things that we covered last night. And the one thing that I do want to cover quickly, briefly, before I go into the 5 characteristics of an influencer, how to earn $1 million a year, like really what it takes. I want to cover something last night that we covered were events and how important events are for building your business. So you all know we have Summit coming up next year, July. I think it starts July 11th or 12th, and I only know the date because it's Paul's birthday, and I have not, since I attended my first Summit, I have not missed Summit. So that's an event that if you want to build this business, if you are serious about changing your life, if you're serious about changing your family's life, if you're serious about earning $500 a month, $1,000 a month, 6 figures, $10,000 a month, $20,000, $40,000, $80,000, whatever that is. If you're serious about that, events are important. 1, for you to be there. 2, for you to lead by example and get your teams there. Because once you're there, you're going to learn things so much faster. Once your team's there, they're going to learn things so much faster. You're going to be able to have deeper connections as a team. And deeper connections, those that have deeper connections with other people are 30% more productive. I don't know about you. I want to be more productive. I want to get more things done. I want to earn more money faster. I want you all to earn more money faster. So events are really key to that. And I know Dana's here with me at GoPro, and I offered this in the team page, and she was the one person that took me up on it. And I didn't care. I didn't care if I was coming alone. I was going to come to this event to grow my level, my knowledge to another level so that I could grow faster. I have bigger dreams for my family and I want to get there faster. And so I want to learn from people that are doing just that. I want to learn from the 7-figure and 8-figure income earners because they are the ones that are going to help me get to that next level. And so I'm so proud of Dana for being here with me and taking me up on it and joining me. And I know not all of you could do it, but Summit's in July and you have plenty of time to make that a priority. I knew this one was last minute and it was just, I found it and was like, I'm going to learn, I want to learn. And Dana dove in with me, but you all can dive in with me and be there at Summit in July. And if you are hungry and you are a hustler and you want to change your family's life, be at Summit in July. Because you're going to grow that much faster, your team's going to grow that much faster, and businesses are built on events. Truly, they're built on events because you're going to gain so much more momentum from it. But now I'm going to dive in to the 5 characteristics that make you an influencer. And when he started the training, Eric Worre started the training with this, 5 characteristics that make you an influencer. And I was kind of like, I'm an influencer. Where are you going with this? I don't even they're going to be so basic. People don't understand that common sense is not common practice. Like what we do in this business is very simple, but most of you aren't doing it. Most of you aren't doing it consistently. So I know this is just going to be simple. Where are you going with this, Eric? It's not going to be crazy amazing for me. And it was. It blew me away. And not because these things are very basic and I do these things, but 1, you all can do them too. But the end part that I'm going to get to after I go through these 5 characteristics is what changed my vision for our team, my vision for my future, and just gave me so much clarity that I can make this happen. So the 5 characteristics of an influencer, as I'm going through these, 1, I want you guys to ask yourself, do I possess them? Am I doing these things? And if I'm not, how can I start doing them immediately? Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. How can you start doing them today in your life? When I learned something, so we learned a little bit about live videos. Everything that they taught us about live videos, I already know, but I wasn't doing it, right? So just because you know these things doesn't mean that you're an expert at them, doesn't mean that you're doing them. So when they went through the live video stuff, I took notes and I wrote down, new goal, go live twice a week, and I've already done it. I went live immediately. I came back to my room. It was hard to fit it in because it's really crazy, but I knew that if I implemented immediately that I would start making it a habit. So I did it right away. So as I'm going through these, do you possess them? And if not, that's okay. These are all things that you can start today. That you can decide today to commit to these 5 things to become an influencer. So number 1, do you possess them? Number 2, how many of your team possesses them? And if you don't have a team yet, that's okay. You should be doing number 1 and getting really great at number 1 so that you attract those types of people so that your team does possess these things. So number 1, independent. Are you independent? Do you need everyone else around you to be able to take action? I took action on this business when I had zero team. I took action on this business when my coach scheduled the GSR with me and didn't answer her phone. I took action on this business when I scheduled a 3-way call with my coach and she didn't answer, and she texted me and said, hey, I'm going through a divorce. Like, I'm just not really available right now. And I took action on this business when my coach told me, hey, send me your list and send me all their emails as well. I'm going to send an email out with all your links in the email. And I thought, oh, that's so nice of her. And so I sent her my email list that I had created of all these people that I knew. And she sent an email out to that list, to my list, with all of her people on the list too, with all of her links. My links weren't in the email, but I was independent. So I thought, all right, I want to build this. I'm going to have to do it myself. Like, I'm not going to have support, but I can figure it out. Because there's a little thing called Google. And so if I didn't know how to do something, I'd go to Google and I'd Google it and I'd learn about it and I'd learn how to grow a network and I'd try things. I mean, I tried Twitter and to grow a network on Twitter for an entire year. I think it was maybe 18 months. I even tried a blog. I put lots of time into those things that never worked. But I didn't get frustrated. Those things didn't work for me. I was getting closer to the next right answer because I realized those things didn't work for me. So number one is, are you independent? Will you show up and do this business whether someone quits on you or someone doesn't start with you, someone says no to you, someone doesn't respond to you? Like, are you independent? Okay, that's number one. Number two, are you a problem solver? Are you a problem solver? So characteristics of an influencer: number one, they're independent. Number two, they're problem solvers. And what I mean by that is not that you don't have problems. I got lots of problems, guys. But 90 problem solvers will take 5% of the time to identify the problem. 95% of the time, they're focused on the solution. They're focused on figuring out the solution, even if they don't know what it is. Even if they can't, a lot of times when struggles hit my way, I had a struggle probably in the last year in my business. And when that struggle hit, I was like, I can figure this out. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm gonna show up with this problem and know that this problem was meant for me. This problem was given to me, and I am going to figure it out, and I'm gonna be so much stronger, and my life is gonna be so much better because I'm focused on the solution. Even if I don't know what it is yet, I'm gonna try things until I figure out the solution. Focus on the solution, right? And so I know that if you aren't a problem solver right now, that you can become one, right? You might not possess this right now, but you can choose to do that. You can choose to consciously decide that you're going to be more aware of the thoughts that are in your head. And as soon as those problems start going on repeat in your head, you're going to write them down and say, okay, here are the problems. Now let's write a column of what are my solutions going to be for that problem. So that's number two. Number three, are you consistent? A lot of you want to grow an incredible business, and I love that, and I love that you have dreams and vision for your life, but you're not consistent. And some of you are. Some of you rock the consistency. That is helping your influence, because if you want to grow a big business, you have to show people that you're going to give as much time to your dreams as you do to other people's dreams. So many of you are used to working 20, 30, 40 hours a week to build somebody else's dreams, but you don't even give 10 hours a week consistently to figure out your own. I don't even understand that, because I don't know how not to be consistent towards my dreams, because I have bigger goals and a bigger vision for my life and helping you all live life at a higher game, because every single one of you can be a 6-figure income earner. Every single one of you can get to 7 figures. And I know that every single one of you can do that, but it takes consistency. Are you being consistent? Are you showing up every day? Are you posting to social if you're building on social media? If you're building in person, that's okay. You don't have to post to social. But whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, are you growing your network? Are you meeting new people every single day, either on social or in person? Are you inviting new people every single day? Are you plugging into team trainings? Are you drinking your Shakeology or your pre-workout or your post-workout or whatever that is? Are you taking care of your health? Are you doing your personal development? Are you doing these things consistently? Oftentimes I see people doing most of it, but then shying away from inviting new people, or they're inviting people, but they're not following up. All of these things are so important. Telling your story to people is so important. People don't care if you know all the facts about the business. It was really easy for me to build in the beginning, because one, I had a strong mindset. No person saying no or not responding to me was going to stop me from going after my dreams. They just weren't ready for theirs yet. But I was going to inspire them to be ready for theirs. I forgot where I was going with that. So number 4, creates action where action wouldn't happen. An influencer creates action where action wouldn't happen. So right now we think of, October, November, December. A lot of times people are like, oh, this is a hard time of the year. I'm going to back off. I'm going to take a step back from my business. I'm like, oh, heck no. I'm going to create more action. I'm going to take more action. I'm going to bring anyone that wants to take more action with me along with me. So you create action where action wouldn't happen. And number 5, you have a big vision for your life. So many of you are living small. You're like in this comfy spot. Like, yeah, I'd like to earn $1 million a year. Yeah, I'd like to earn 6 figures. I'd like to have that much of an impact, but you really don't, like, you're not creating that vision and sharing that vision with other people, and you're playing a little small. And we all can think, right? We all think. So if we're going to think, why aren't we thinking big? I don't know why this popped into my head last night, but I was like, we all think. And we like to put our problems on repeat in our head and just think about our problems. I'm always like, if my problems pop in my head, I'm like, all right, let's write this down consciously. These are your problems. What's the solution? Let's figure out the solution. And guys, sometimes I try things for a solution and they don't work, but I'm excited because I got one step closer to what does work. It's part of figuring out the process of embracing the suck, honoring the struggle, honoring the journey. You learn so much. I mean, there were people on stage then in their first 8 years hadn't even earned 6 figures in their first 8 years. And then by year 10, we're earning 7 figures. I mean, that is so amazing that they had that much drive and belief in their ability to figure it out. There were probably things holding them back. They probably didn't have a big vision for their life. I just taught you guys 5 characteristics of an influencer, and they probably didn't have all 5 of those things, and they weren't aware of that and weren't working on that, but they kept showing up, and at some point it clicked for them. See, when I was a new coach, I was telling Dana earlier, like, I went through and we had this 10 game plan commitment. And number 1, it said, drink your shake and do your workout, do your personal development, plug into the National Coach Wake Up Call, earn Success Club 5 minimum every single month, invite people to join you, follow up with people, post to social media. I'm trying to think, there's more. Grow your network with new people. I can't remember them all. So those are the ones that I can remember. And I went through the 10 things. I'm like, I can do all of these except for personal development. I crossed it out. I was like, that seems like fluff work. I'm not going to do that. And I remember telling Dana, I just got done telling Dana, I'm like, yeah, but I was actually doing it every day. I was so hungry to learn and to grow and to figure it out that I was listening to a National Coach Wake Up Call 1 a day, every single day, minimum. Sometimes it was 2 or 3 a day. I would listen to them while I was driving to and from work because I wanted to surround myself with people that had bigger vision for their life to help me have a bigger vision for my life. I didn't know how to dream. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know dreams were possible. And so that helped me to start dreaming again and have that bigger vision for my life. So I want you guys to look at those 5 things. Do you have all 5? Yes or no? And if no, that's okay. Where do you need to work to become an influencer? Because in order to attract influencers to your business, in order to go out there and invite and get influencers to say yes to you or to develop influencers on your team, it first starts with you. It starts with you becoming an influencer. So if you are an influencer, how many people do you have that fit this criteria? Oh, hey, Matt. Matt is awesome. Matt's hungry. Okay, I love that Matt's on this Zoom training live video. Matt is, when I look at these things, he's a brand new coach and he's an influencer. He's an influencer because he's independent. He'll go and do the work. He's a problem solver. If he has a problem, he's like, okay, Christy, here's my problem. Like, what are the solutions? Like, he researches to figure out the solutions. That doesn't mean that you can't come to the team and ask for solutions. We have people around you that know the answers or know some of the answers. And that still means you have to try things and figure it out for yourself. But being a problem solver, right? He's there. He's consistent with this. He creates action where action doesn't happen. He's creating a bigger vision for his life and he's just getting started. And he has these 5 things. So you can choose to be an influencer from day 1 in your coach business. And Matt's done that. Like he became an influencer on day 1. I know he's an influencer. So now here's something, he went through these, and I know these things. I'd never put them into a framework, so to speak, but I know these things. But here's the thing that blew my mind. There are a couple things, actually, two. Number one is he went through and he asked all the people that were making 7 figures or 8 figures a year how many influencers they had in their downline. And he says on average, he's done research on this, on average it takes 25 influencers to make $1 million a year. 25 influencers to make $1 million a year. And I know I've been in this for 7.5 years, and I started going through the downline, and I probably have, I would say 12, 13, 14 people that I truly consider influencers. Matt is one of them. He's a brand new coach, and I consider him an influencer. But I went through the entire downline. And some of you are great. You're builders, but you're not influencers because you're not always consistent with these things. You know, a problem comes your way and you just focus on the problem. 95% of your energy is going to the problem. You're so close to that influencer level, but you still got things to work on to be able to attract those other influencers to your team. So it takes 25 influencers to make $1 million a year on average. Obviously, there's no guarantee. Some of you might take 50. Some of you, it might be 10 influencers to make $1 million. But that gave me so much clarity about how many people I need to reach out and help become influencers. How many coaches I need to get started and help them become influencers. Because the influence factory starts with you. The influence factory starts with you. You have to get great at these things. You need to always be improving and focused on solutions. When things were happening to my business, which I'm going to get into in a second, there was a huge, in a way, like a struggle, a really big struggle, probably the biggest struggle that I have encountered in my business thus far. But I was so equipped for it when this struggle came my way. As a new coach 2 years in, I wouldn't have been equipped for this. I don't think I would have had the strength or the mindset to believe in my ability to completely figure this struggle that came my way out, which I will share with you, because the struggle was so big. So become an influencer factory. That starts with you. It's those things I just shared. They're not hard, but they're required. If you want to build a legacy, if you want to build an insane vision for your family, if you want to have a really big impact on this world, those things are required. They're not hard. They're very simple, but it's required. So, and if you have coaches joining you that are hungry, if they are hungry, you can teach them. They can become an influencer. Right? But if they're not hungry, doesn't matter how much potential they have, they won't become an influencer. So it doesn't matter if somebody has a law degree and is super smart, they have a ton of potential. They could do incredible things with this. Maybe they have tons of following on social media, but that doesn't mean that they're hungry, right? So that's all you need is someone to be hungry. Like I look at me and I'm like, I was just so hungry when I started this business. I'm still hungry today. And that's why hunger you can teach. You can teach a hungry person to become an influencer. A hungry person will work to become an influencer. Okay, so here was the next, that was incredible. For me, the big vision was 25 influencers to make $1 million a year. I am looking, I know how many influencers I have on the team right now. I'm looking in the downline to find those influencers. I'm looking out in the world to start new coaches to find those influencers, to really develop those people into incredible businesses that change their life and have a really big impact. So that was the first thing. There was just a huge vision for me. Like, I'm going to get to 7 figures a year. And then once I figure that out, I'm going to get to 8 figures a year because that's the type of impact I want to have on people. This business grows you. See, a lot of people out there are into fitness and they think that fitness really grows them. But the thing about building your own business is it puts all your shit, all your struggles right in front of you to own. And you have to figure out how it's messy and you have to figure out how to get through them to grow. And I love that because when I help a person become successful in this business, when a person is hungry enough to figure it out and be that type of influencer, they are not only changing their life and changing their family's life, but they are having such a big impact on the world around them. And that truly is how we change the world. Truly. Because we teach other people how to think and have stronger mindsets, and that can't be taken away from them. Once you learn those skills and you work hard to get those skills, those things can't be taken away. It's brilliant. Okay, so number 2 of the things that were huge aha moment for me is challenging times always follow momentum. 100% of the time. Challenging times always follow momentum. And he says momentum lasts about 18 months. And he showed this graph, and this is the thing. I'll explain this graph in a second to you. So challenging times always follow momentum. Momentum lasts about 18 months. And this was pretty crazy because I look back in my business and I was like, wait. I was in momentum for like 6 years, like 6.5 years. And then I thought back and I was like, no, actually I really wasn't. Like my income was going up every year, but every year I had these plateaus in my business as well, where I was just earning the same amount of income for a long time before it kind of jumped up to the next level of income. And he also said that people leave this business. Usually, most people know that if they join a traditional business, it's going to take 3 years to make any income. They'll work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week and give the business 3 years. When people start network marketing, like most people give it 3 weeks. Like, yeah, that's not going to work. Like, how about you try to give that same 3 years that you would give to a traditional business, right? And show up. It doesn't have to be 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, but show up consistently for those 3 years. But he said also, people that are successful in the business, and this is where my struggle comes in, people will leave when their incomes plateau because they are addicted to momentum. So they go out and they try to find another company that has momentum. And when he said that, I was like, oh my goodness, that was my struggle, guys. See, I had been in this momentum phase and I had coaches on the team that I had developed for 3-4 years that were in momentum for those years. They had come into plateaus in their business before, but when it came into a plateau after they had reached a certain level, they became addicted to the momentum, and so they went and looked for another company that had company momentum. But company momentum is not going to create long-term 7-figure income earners. And so here is what he shared that happens. Like, you get to the top, people get to the top, they've created all that momentum, and it gets hard, so they check out of their business. And the name of the game is influencer growth. First, you're an influencer, you create that momentum, right? And then creating other influencers. So this is the thing that he showed us. In this graph, if you guys can see it, this is the growth, like when you're in momentum. So once I figured out my business and my income started growing quickly, I went from $6,000 my first year as a coach to $37,000 my second year as a coach to $137,000 my third year as a coach to $200,000 my fourth year as a coach to $400,000 the following year to $650,000 the following year to $650,000 the following year to this year will probably be $575,000 is what I'm thinking. My income went down this year. So I had those influencers leave, but this is what I want to show you. So I was in momentum, and in that momentum, there were a lot of plateaus during the year, but I would push and like figure it out. And then there's like a little plateau, and then there's like a decline, right? And that's just how the business goes. But what he says is during this momentum, you really want to push, because what you're doing is you're focusing on your influencer growth. You're focusing on developing influencers in your team. And that's what this line is. This is your influencer growth, your actual income that is residual income of influencer growth, right? And this is your bedrock. This is your solid, like, sustainable income. So when you're in momentum, it looks like you're earning a lot more. A lot of you probably got a really big paycheck from Shaun T, which is great. Those are commissions. Those are bonuses. Like, accept that income. It's a momentum income. It's not because you're good. It's because of some of the work that you've done. But what that is you are buying yourself time. On average, influencer growth grows about 10% a year. Wasn't that what he said? 10% a year. Influencer growth grows about 10% a year. So what you're doing in influencer growth is you are actually, like, when you're in growth, when you're in momentum, that straight line that I was showing you, when you're in momentum, you're buying yourself time. These rollouts that Beachbody does for us, you're buying yourself time to go out there and work and take action and find those influencers. You're buying yourself time to find those influencers. So when my income plateaued this year, because I had some influencers leave, those influencers left because they were addicted to the momentum and their business hit a plateau. Their business hit a plateau and they were addicted to the momentum, so they left to another company to be addicted to that momentum. Now, my values, I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do that because my values are with fitness and getting healthy and not selling a quick fix. Like I couldn't do it. I don't care that, like, yes, I'm addicted to momentum. I will tell you that, but I'm also addicted to figuring things out. And I knew that these people were leaving, and they were leaving for me. It was the best thing for me. And I knew that, but I was trying to figure it out. Part of it was they had negative energy. And so when things got hard, when there was a plateau, when their income did go down, they were addicted to that momentum, and they blamed everyone else. They blamed Beachbody, they blamed me, they blamed everyone. I mean, even when they left, they blamed me. And that was something that he said. He's like, no other company is really going to get you there. All the companies like have the same thing, really. No company's compensation plan is really better than any other company's compensation plan. They all work out about the same. And he goes, so when you're blaming everybody else, like, you're not growing yourself. You're not getting stronger yourself. You're just jumping. And it was like, oh my goodness, thank you so much for saying this. Like, I stayed, and obviously I just share with you guys, Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income. I just share with you guys, in 2018, my income's going to be down. And you're probably thinking, yeah, Chrissy, but that's a shit ton of income still. Like, oh, boo-hoo. But I will tell you, a lot of you have earned $1,000 a month, and then when your income goes down to $500 a month, you start freaking out. You're like, where's my income, right? And that's because you didn't, in the time that you were in momentum, you weren't working hard to create that influencer growth because you weren't being the influencer. You weren't being the influencer to go grow that 10% influencer rate every single year. And so when my income went down, when I knew I'd figure it out, and that I'm going to get to 7 figures, and I'm going to get to 7 figures with a team of influencers that are really making a difference in this world, and that are people that I want to surround myself with. And I knew that. I 100% had clarity around that. I didn't completely understand how that was going to happen, but I knew 100% that that's going to happen. But when he shared this, I was like, yes, I hit my plateau. I hit my decline. Like, my bedrock is strong. I have incredible influencers on this team, and it's going to get bigger. This vision is going to get bigger. I'm going to get the 25 influencers. I'm going to get the 50 influencers. I'm going to find the 100 influencers. Like, this team is going to be full of the biggest influencer team you could ever imagine. We're going to have so much influence and helping people live healthier, happier lives, earning income so that they're not struggling, just believing in themselves. Like, our society does not believe in themselves. They don't have confidence that they can accomplish their goals and dreams. They don't even think that that's even a possibility. Like, I want people to think bigger for their lives. We all think, and we think about our problems instead about going out there and living life. Like, even if it takes me another 10 years to get to 7 figures, which I don't think it's going to, because I'm going to push real hard to make sure that doesn't happen. But even if it takes me 10 years, I'm going to do it with so much joy and enthusiasm and changing people's life along the way. I am going to find those influencers. And when he shared this, guys, and he said the name of the game is influencer growth. The vision for this team, the vision for my life just got so big. I just got chills. Like, it's bringing tears to my eyes. Your business is not always going to be growing up. There are seasons where your check is going to go down, but your influencer growth is going up. And that was my season. And I know that. I was telling Paul, I'm like, you know what? Our income's going down, but the leaders on our team are developing. And some of them are in the early development stage, but they're going to be huge, babe. Like, I keep telling him, babe, I call Paul babe, it's going to be huge. Like, their influence is so incredible. Their drive, their commitment, their consistency, like, these are the people I want on my team. So even though my income's going down, like, they're amazing. And then I saw this, and I was like, you're right where you need to be. Thank you, Eric Worre. Like, I knew it for myself, but I almost needed that confirmation from someone else. And I'm like, my check isn't going up, but my influencer growth is. I'm having a bigger impact on this world, and I want you all to as well. All right, guys, I hope that helps you, because these things changed my vision for my life in this business. And you thought that was on fire before? Just wait. 2019 is going to be epic. I love you all so very much. I want you on this influencer train with me. And I know 100% that you all can be, but not all of you are going to be hungry enough to make it happen. But those of you that are, I'm here for you. Let's do this. Let's go big. Let's think bigger. Let's make 2019 a year of the most six-figure income earners we have on this team, not because of the money. Money will not make you happy, because that means we are having a huge impact on this world. I love you guys.